All right, look, it's 2025. It's time for some new gear, but also got something else going on in the South. In another day or so, we're supposed to have the biggest winter storm we've had in decades. We're supposed to get multiple inches of snow. I don't know what's going on, so it should be pretty interesting. I've already stocked up on my milk and bread. Should be good to go. I think they've already cleared the shelves. But you know, us Southerners don't get this much, so we're gonna go ahead and enjoy it. But today, guys, we're gonna talk about my new backpacking gear for 2025. I'm keeping it simple this year. You know, I've spent a lot of money on backpacking gear over the years. I've tried a lot of things out, ended up selling them. But this year I tried to keep it simple. I'm fine tuning some stuff and I wanted to share it with you guys for this year. I got a couple bigger things I might mention later in a couple other videos that I'm looking at this year. But right now we're just gonna fine tune a couple things and see what we can do, see if we like these things. Maybe I'll talk about them later in the year. And maybe the things have become part of my permanent setup because I don't know what it is now, but like I have trusted my setup now so much it's hard for me to deviate away from it. So these new additions should help out, I think, and are things that I keep in my pack. So this is more of a, I guess, luxury item, not really a luxury. It's more of a, I want to nerd out about temperatures like us backpackers always talk about and how the tough temps we've been in and how the hot temps we've slept in. I don't care anything about sleeping in hot temperatures, but I do like to go out in the cold. So anyways, I think it was my buddy Andy Parrish. He had one of these. I thought it'd be pretty cool to get. This is by GOI. I don't know if you've ever been on Amazon and seen all their like crazy amount of LED lights they do, but they've also got a cool other sensors they sell. I'm sure it's an overseas company. For the price I paid to, it's pretty cheap. But anyways, this connects into the GOI home app and it Bluetooths to your cell phone, and it is constantly recording the humidity and the temperature outside. So you can easily hang this inside your tent, outside of your tent, and you can see a graph. I'm gonna try to put it on the screen. This is not from me in the tent, but from just sitting in my office. It will show you basically on a graph over a certain amount of time, whichever you pick, how the temperature changed. And then like if it's outside in the winter and you're in your tent, you can see what it dipped down to through the night, and if you wake up, what it's currently at in the morning. So I thought this is a cool piece of gear to have. This is something like if I'm on a through hike or any long distance hike, I'm not gonna carry it with me, it's just more weight. But I thought for, you know, overnights or a couple nights or wherever I'm hanging out and it's really cold and I really wanna see what kind of temperatures I was dealing with. That way I can test out my quilts and sleeping bags and tents and see what kind of temps they held up to. This is a cool little device. As with some of these other things, I'll make sure to link them below. This one's from Amazon, really cheap though. It has a little battery on the inside. I did recommend if you're not gonna use it for a while to go ahead and pull the battery out because there is no off-on switch. It's just constantly recording. And when you hook your phone to it through the Bluetooth, it just automatically pulls that data over to the phone where you can see it. And I'll try to show that on the screen. But yeah, I thought this is a cool little thing I'm gonna try this year. Like I was saying, I've got a trip this year coming up. It's gonna be pretty cold and it'd be cool to see if it monitors that temperature well, just to see what we were dealing with. So this one is simple, but this one's been out there for a pretty good while. And back in the 2020 days, when everything was really hard to get a hold of, and probably into 2021, I'd say too, these were really hard to get a hold of and I could never grab one. But I heard they could add up to, I think it's an entire 1.0 R value to your sleep system. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's probably already been debunked, but I know that I've had a lot of people tell me it did help them out. And in very cold temps, I got one trip coming up in another week or so that I could definitely use any extra I can get. I got the Gossamer gear. This is the, I want to say it right, the Thinlight foam 1/8 inch pad. And I've got it still wrapped up right now. I literally just got it from Garage Grown Gear. I'm excited about this little simple thing. I'm a little bit concerned about how much room it's going to take up in my pack. But I feel like on the really cold trips, you know, my sleeping pads do pretty well, but this will give me that extra little bit of warmth, extra barrier from the ground. That's the main thing you're trying to fight against, and make sure that I can stay warm. This is another simple one, but I feel like something to be useful for those deep winter trips. And I've heard a lot of good things. Like I said, for a while there, a couple years back, it was really hard to get a hold of one. But they're still out there. They still sell them. I'm gonna try it out this winter and just see how it does for me. All right, so you know I'm a huge fan of Hilltop Packs. Ben has done some awesome gear, and as always, I like to promote something they've had and try something else new Ben's doing and show it to you guys, and I'm gonna be testing out this year. So I put these two together because they're very simple. I've got so many different bags now and stuff like that. I just don't need anything like that at the moment. He has some cool other things he's done, and I want to share these with you, and I'm gonna try them out for myself. This right here is a merino wool, I guess like just cloth. I don't know how to put it. People got different names for it, but you can just strap it right here on your pack. Easily for the summer, you're just trying to wipe sweat off or anything else. You got something on your hands. It's a easy way to wipe that, clean some snot off your nose. But anyways, it's merino wool, so it does well with bacteria and smell. And I thought it'd be a cool thing to have in front of my pack, even for day hikes this summer where it's warmer and I just want to get the sweat off of my face. So that is the first part of the new stuff I've got from Hilltop Packs. But I got another thing I want to show you here. So this is something I've seen my other backpacking friends have forever. They've had different ones and I've wanted one. It was something else that Ben come out with and promoted. It's nothing new, but he just come out with a version that makes it easy to keep this from rattling in here with also your burner for your kitchen stove. That way everything together, it's not knocking around and scratching the inside of your pot. So he come out with these microfiber cloths. I think he has them in different colors. Just very simple cloth to easily be able to tuck down in here, and it tightly sits in there. So it isn't sliding around, making a knocking sound. I know some people get really annoyed when stuff is making sound when they're hiking. But this is an easier way to kind of keep it together, keep it where that canister is not bouncing around in there. And at the same time, as you all probably are waiting for me to say, you can easily dry this out. Even if you're just like me, if you just boil water in this and that's all you do with it, and you got residue water left in there and you don't want to rust your canister or anything else, you can use this to pull all of that moisture out of there before you put everything back in there. This is very cheap, very useful. I feel like this is something I can add to my kit that's going to be very beneficial, and it's easy to clean. Just throw it in with my clothes after I'm done on a trip and be ready to go again. But I thought it was a cool new piece of gear for this year. All right, so if you've been watching my channel for the last few years, there's one piece of gear that I feel like I have always mentioned. Anytime I said budget gear, recommended any gear that's affordable and just works great compared to the expensive alternatives, it has been these Cascade Mountain trekking poles. Now, I've had the white pair. You probably, if you've watched any of my trip content, I've had the white pair for years. It has held up many a trekking pole tents. It has gotten me through some serious rocks on many occasions. On my last trip last year, though, to the Colorado Trail, posted a video on that, I finally broke one of these tips, and I don't know if it will focus, but I broke one straight off. It sheared. Some of my buddies out west say they even grinded these down just from being on rock surfaces so much, but for me, it just broke off. Honestly, it's still usable, but what I noticed was happening is once you broke that, you lost that end, it was really starting to eat into the plastic on the bottom here. And I was really concerned about it completely breaking down on me when I was on trail. And if I'm a person that uses pretty much 90% of the time I'm using a trekking pole tent, I want to make sure my trekking poles are going to hold up. So I decided it was time to invest in another pair. And even after probably 4 years of use, I came right back to the same ones. These are the carbon ones, so they're the lighter ones again. I paid, I think, $65. They have an aluminum pair that's even cheaper. But compared to some of the more expensive alternatives, I know there's lighter pairs out there. Yes, they cost more, but they are lighter. These hold up well. I've never really complained about the weight. They get the job done. They balance well. They hold up my trekking pole tents well. And I just put a ton of miles on the other ones. It was hard for me to spend any more money when these have been so great. I didn't necessarily get the color I wanted. Surprisingly, right now, they didn't have many in stock. So I just went ahead with the green because I need them for trips coming up. So yeah. These are the Cascade Mountain carbon trekking poles. They come with a bunch of other tips. They come with plastic, I guess, knobs on the end too to kind of protect these, but I found every time I used them, they'd fall right off and I would end up backtracking trying to find them, and I just didn't see it useful anymore. So I will be using these again this year. I bought me a new set. This is another piece of my new gear for 2025. As always, guys, I appreciate when we do these videos. If you have new gear, you're going to be using this gear, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Maybe you've got some recommendations for me that you want me to try out because I would love some new stuff. I'm so fine-tuned with what I use. I want to try some new things, but I just keep going back to the stuff that works. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why I said it like that. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoyed my new gear. And I want to hear about your new gear, and we will see you soon.